Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday night brand night. I'm Sherry Danzig, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all. We always have a great time sharing stories and experiences about these fantastic products that are Niken's wellness technologies. It's all about biomimicry, it's all about connecting to nature. And the company has been absolutely brilliant in their simplicity in giving us a way to reconnect nature in a very passive way. I'm sitting on a magnetic chair pad. I wear magnetic insoles in my shoes, or a magnet on my back. I have a magnet on my neck, around my neck. We have water filtration, air filtration, great sleep technology. So we're creating this whole wellness environment to be cocooned in what is completely natural to us. So tonight we're talking about the magnetic insoles, and I'm excited to see a couple of hands up. So let's go ahead. I have a bunch of stories, and I'm hoping we'll have a bunch of stories from everyone. Barb Richmond, why don't you unmute and please share?
Thanks, Sherry. As many of you know, and some of you don't, I have had a um, challenge with a hip replacement, and I currently have a femur that isn't where it's supposed to be. The top of the femur isn't, it's broken off. Two muscles are attached to the top of that femur, and they've migrated up into the hip. So neither the muscles nor the top of the femur are where they're supposed to be. So that has compromised my balance. I and many people my age have a fear of falling, but I wear the insoles every single day, all day. Only take them off at bedtime because as long as I have them in my shoes, I have the confidence to put my foot wherever it needs to be for me to keep moving forward. I'm not allowed to do exercises, but I am to do a lot of walking every day. And the insoles enable me to do that. I don't know where I'd be without them. I'd be in dire straits if I did not have them in my shoes on a regular basis. And I wore them even before I had these challenges because I found that my legs, if you're on your feet a lot, you tend to get a little weary, fatigued. And that just wasn't happening. I was able to maintain my level of energy throughout the day. But right now, it's the balance that is the most important thing in my day-to-day existence.
Yeah, thank you, Barbara. Appreciate that. Yeah, balance is a huge concern for many people. So I've heard lots of wonderful stories about how the insoles support better balance. Paula, you've got your hand raised.
Yes, the insoles were one of the first products that I was introduced to. The I did the necklace, the back flex, and the insoles all at one time. But what I noticed about the insoles is I no longer needed a coffee at 3 o'clock. I didn't get the 3 o'clock sleepies, and it gave me the energy to last through the day.
Fantastic. That's a big change. Bayla, you've got your hand up. What would you like to share?
I agree with Barbara because I had some challenges with balance as well. And I would save myself from falling barely. And since I bought the insoles and have been wearing them, my balance issues are pretty much resolved. If I once in a while, yes, but I'm not wearing my insoles at that point. And they hold even when I'm not wearing my insoles. So I wanted to mention that's absolutely true for me.
Thanks, Bayla. So let's see there's many stories I want to share about the insoles. My one of my favorite stories about myself is that when I was first being testing out Niken's technologies, I didn't think I had an energy problem. I thought I had lots of energy. I never felt like I was suffering from low energy. And so I think somebody told me to do this, or I came up with myself. I don't remember, but I was a massage therapist. At that time, I would be on my feet for 8 or 10 hours a day doing massage. And again, I didn't think I had an energy problem. So, but I wore a special sandal to while I was doing massage. And so I was going to try out the insoles. I was testing them out. So they would slide in and out of my sandals. So I had to put on my regular shoes, which normally would hurt my feet a lot wearing them for that long. But that was the only way I knew how to wear the insole. So I switched back to a regular shoe to start my massage day. And I wore them for a week. And then I took them out. And so this is what I tell people all the time. Wear them so that your body gets used to it and then take them out. So I did that. I wore them in I wore my regular shoes, did massage, my long days, didn't notice a thing. Honestly, didn't notice a thing. And then I took them out after wearing them for a week. And by noon, my legs were so tired. I was so tired. And so it wasn't that I just didn't have a comparison. We sometimes don't know what we don't know. And so I had gotten so used to my energy being what it was, I thought I had plenty of energy. But when I took the insoles away, I could tell the difference in how much more tired I was. And I put them right back in. And, the truth is, I had a comparison then of how much more energy I had at the end of, an 8-hour day of doing massage. So I see a couple more hands up and I'll fill in a few other stories if there's time. Nancy, go ahead and share.
I want to, in trying to open my husband's mind about Niken, because I knew it worked immediately, and oh my goodness, this is great. Took some home and all, and I asked him to wear them for a week. And after a week, he said he didn't notice anything. And my sponsor said, well, you need to really take them away from him. So I did. And I asked him about a week later, he said, I notice a difference. And I said, what did you notice? And the way he described it was, well, last week I thought I was just feeling great. He was a coach, basketball coach. He'd be at school at 6 in the morning and home at 11 o'clock at night. It was just horrible. And he said, I just had all this energy and felt great. He said, then you took them away. Oh, it was my fault. And he said, I feel like I've had an elephant on my back all this week. He said the difference. And I didn't know this, but he said my ankles and knees felt great when I was wearing them. And I don't feel so good now. So that was amazing. I went on a big sale to a store with 3 daughters. My friend had 3 daughters. We were there 8 hours. A lot of it was standing in line to get into the dressing room and then 2.5 hours just to purchase what we decided on and everything else in between. And people around me were literally laying on the floor with their heads braced on the lowest shelf, empty shelves in this place. And now I would never do anything like that. Oh my gosh. And I was just standing there. And my friend Rachel said, Nancy, stop it. You're torturing yourself. Come on, sit down at least. And I went, I am fine. I'm standing here. I'm fine. So I never sat down or anything. But no, they were on the floor with I mean, 2.5 hours. That is a long time.
A long time.
Okay.
Thanks, Nancy. Lynn.
Well, my story is about my husband too, Nancy, but he traveled recently to Europe. And just before travel, we picked up some bug and he was already having an issue with uncomfortable coughing and so on. So he said when he arrived to his destination, he could not function. He couldn't sleep from all the disturbance of cough and so on. He says, the only thing I thought of, he took his insoles with him. He took the insoles after a second day. He says, the first night I was able to sleep. And now, you know what he does? His insoles, at the end of the day, he tucks them around his back area so he got extra stuff. And truly, he said the insole saved him from having just incredible landing while he was recovering from this uncomfortable, I guess, bug in travel or whatever you want to call it. So you can use it more than in your shoes.
That's right. That's right. It was the only product the company had for the first 4 years. So people being seen wearing them on their head, around their neck. I've taken the insoles out before and wrapped it around my shoulder. I've put it behind, under my bra strap, if my mid back was bothering me. So yeah, wherever you want to put them, you can put them. So I'm going to share a story and then Bayla's got her hand up and Audrey's got her hand up. So I'm going to say this in the most compliant way that I can. So I have a friend, some of you may remember him. His name was Rory. And Rory is also lives in Georgia and it doesn't get that cold here, but we have some winter days and he had a condition, but he wasn't paying attention to his health, so he did not know. But he thought it was pretty cool that he could walk out barefoot when it was winter and cold. He could walk out barefoot and it didn't bother him because he didn't feel his feet. And so it got kind of bad. It got kind of serious. His toes were discolored, and he finally went to a doc in a box, and the guy said, "You may lose all your toes." He had a very serious condition. And so his friend had been telling him about the products for quite a while. So he decided to call his friend. His friend brought over lots of products for him to try, including the magnetic insoles and the water, and he thought he was going to lose all of his toes. But within a few months, his toes had returned to the natural color. And this is going back easily, probably 25 years ago, and he still has all of his toes. So it's important to understand that what the magnets are doing is they're helping support the body to help it come back to homeostasis. It's helping to restore the body to balance. So we're talking about having balance, but there's also kind of an internal balance. And that was his story. And there's many, many other ones that are like Rory's story. I have another story about Evander Holyfield. So some of y'all probably know who he is, big, strong guy, athlete. And we do this muscle test where we can show how someone can be stronger when they're standing on the magnets. And this was a woman who was not a particularly big woman compared to this very big, strong man. And she could show him how he was weaker without the magnets and stronger with the magnets. That made a big difference on Evander Holyfield. He kept him in his shoes for the remainder of his time when he was um, fighting. So, okay, those are a couple of fun stories for me. Baylor, go ahead.
Um, so my son takes his insoles and puts them, at my suggestion, inside my youngest granddaughter, who's 8, inside her pillowcase. I don't know if I can say this word, but she has challenges in her mouth at night. And when she is having the insoles, she does not have those issues. So I've been saying the pillow's a little bit too big for her. Maybe we can come up with some other solution. We haven't yet, so that's what he's been doing, putting in the insoles to help
Okay.
her.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a very versatile product. I mean, that's one of the things that's cool about it. You can put it anywhere you'd like. Who
Yeah.
else has got a story? Audrey, you were raising your hand. You got to unmute them, my dear.
Yes. Okay. Um, and this is from the beginning days when we first found out about Meekin and the insoles. My husband and my son worked together, and my husband had broken ankles and legs and that kind of thing. So the insoles were great relief for him. He found a lot of ease when he had them in. Well, we only had one pair for him, one pair for my son. And it was Monday, so my husband had forgotten and left his insoles in the Sunday shoes. He didn't put them in his work boots. About halfway through the day, he said to my son, how much his legs and ankles really hurt him. And my son says, "Oh, I don't need them. Here, you can have mine." So they sat down, and John put the insoles in his shoes. And it wasn't half an hour later, and they had to do many stairs. My son did many stairs, spraying apartments. And he said it wasn't very long, not even an hour, and he noticed the difference in his thighs. He says, "My heavens, my thighs are killing me." And he said, and it's just since I gave you the insoles. And so he had been working out the day before with a friend and had done squats with weights. So he noticed the difference when he had the insoles in and then when he took them out.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best way to know. It's the comparison of using
Yeah.
the magnets for a period of time, then stop using them for a time and have that, then your body can have that comparison. So
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Audrey. Mrs.
Mhm.
Kramer. You got to unmute. Well, while we're waiting on her to unmute, she may have left for a moment, walked away, stepped away. Okay, I don't know who the 301.
Sherry,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hey, Barb.
Sorry, I'm in my car and I'm just trying to park so I can tell my quick story. I've got a great story.
Please share.
All right, can you see me okay? Sorry,
Yeah.
it's just very
Yes.
dark. I just last week met a lady that was having excruciating discomfort in both feet and ankles. And I opened the door of asking would she be interested, and she was very interested, and I brought her in to try in where she was working the insoles, and she went to the back room, put the insoles in, immediately could feel a difference, and came back out and said, and she had the M step, one was M step and one was M stride. She wanted to try both, and she kept them. I told her to wear them to bed at night, that night in her socks, and that next day, and within 24 hours most all that discomfort was gone, and she had been having this for a month. It was incredible. So I just say that there's magic in these insoles. And think about it. Nikken started 50 years ago with the insoles. So don't you think they're an important piece of it?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and we're talking stories, not statistics, but I do think it's pretty remarkable that the company had only insoles when they first launched in 1975. They became the fastest growing company to $1 billion in sales. They grew faster than any other company had previously, and it was with that one product. So, like you said, Barb, something must have been working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something must have
Just
been working.
phenomenal. So keep sharing, everybody.
Yes, keep sharing. Especially this month, it's kind of fun with the promotion that's happening. Okay, I see two hands raised, but you're both muted. So, Mrs. Kramer, if you want to try it again, if you're there. Michelle, go ahead.
Hello,
Hello.
beautiful people. I have a story with my son. When I first was introduced to Nikan, Joshua was having issues with his joints, and they were rather loose. So he couldn't support himself on his feet because his feet would kind of fall in. So he was in special orthotics. He wore high top boots, but they were really not attractive boots. And when he started going to school, he was being made fun of. So he wanted to change his boots to be like the cool kids, right? But we couldn't get the orthotics into these new runners. And I said, let's try this and until we can get you a new orthotic. We never did get new orthotics. He kept the insoles in his shoes all the time. And one of the issues was in his arches. And the doctor that he was seeing, when he turned 16, his joints started to stiffen up. and he wanted to see Josh. So we went in to see him, and he said he's fine. He's just growing. It's all good. He said, but I want to check his feet. He said, get up on the cube, Josh. You know the routine. And so it was a mirrored cube so that when he stood up, he could see his arch. And he said, okay, get off. And he says, get back up. And he looks at me and he says to Josh, get off. He did it 3 times. And he says, what is going on? And he said, for the first time in Josh's life, he had a little bit of space in his arch.
Huh. Interesting, huh?
Pretty amazing. Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to stop the recording, and then if there are a few more stories, we'll welcome those as well.